So let's cross our fingers that we've got enough to stay in an orbit around the moon. Even if it's not great, we can refuel. So, over here, we're going to burn... Yeah, that is correct. Okay, good. It's going to be a very short burn. But we're going to lock to the anti-normal. We're going to warp to about halfway. Still have to deploy the solar panels. And if I start a very gentle burn here, there we go. Very gentle burn, trying to get it equatorial, at which point it will cross that white line. And you can see it's lowering the periapsis a little bit effectively because of how we're interacting with things. And that looks pretty good right there. And if I also wanted to correct our altitude, oops, not that way. Hang on, I was pulling the wrong thing. Do a little maneuver here. We want to go inward radial. Inward radial is what we're looking for. So, radial in. And again, it'll be a very tiny little burn. Very tiny little burn. Drop it to right around 50. I'll leave it slightly above because I'm not going to be precise with my retro burn when we come in here. It'll likely drop my periapsis a little bit more. And ideally, I'd like to be in an orbit around 50. So we've got about 900 liters of oxidizer plus liquid fuel left. How much delta V is that? I may want to be in polar orbit. Yeah, you're right, huh? So that we can meet everything? Oh, that's... I wonder if I should go back to one of the previous saves. I mean, it's quite easy for us to drop into some sort of polar orbit from here by just burning radial. Yeah, we should be in polar orbit. That way we can pass over every point of the thing. It's very little delta V to correct this. But we don't have a ton of delta V, so... Close enough. Let's find out what happens with that. Let's recenter over here. Let's hide these lines. I wish it would just default to the path one instead of full network. Let's go for full time warp. And then we'll find out if we can enter into an orbit of the moon here. If we did get a refueling setup going, we could always, we can infinitely adjust our solar, our station's position. So add maneuver, retrograde burn. It's going to be, it's 19 seconds, really. I mean, we are low. The lower your periapsis, the less delta V you'll need to make this adjustment. So 20 seconds and 340 meters per second. I mean, I think this is at least 20 seconds worth of fuel. So I think we're going to be okay. So about 10 seconds before the periapsis is when we should start our burn, which is how I'm going to rate this. Quick save now. And we're going to time warp to right over here. And be told to go retrograde. So about 20 seconds before, which is now, and we're not pointing in the right direction. I didn't realize I'd time warp that close. I thought there was more space, but that's okay. And you are go for burn. Actually, it's 20-second burn, so it's about 10 seconds before. Actually, that works out almost perfectly, which is freaky. And indeed, we have enough fuel. Somehow, despite some mistakes, we ended up with more than enough delta V to complete the maneuver that we're looking for. Okay. If I want to circularize properly, I really should wait until we're closer to one of the points now. That way we're past the parry. If I burn retrograde now, it's going to be dropping the parry, and I don't want to drop the parry anymore. So, still, 4252, or 4852 is pretty damn close to a 50K orbit. It's not quite circular, but it's pretty surprisingly close. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And we have a decent amount of fuel left over. What I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to make sure to turn off the engine so I don't accidentally burn. Extend some solar panels here and here. Quick save. We're going to deploy the scanner. And I don't think we have to do anything with the antenna. I think it's just on, isn't it? Yeah, it's just on. Boom! Glorious! Perform orbital survey. Oh, just uploads data right away? Interesting. I've never played with this antenna before. Plus, things have changed. So, alright. Resource. 5%. Toggle overlay. Oh, apparently we've had it. If I go to the map mode, there we go. So presumably, this is us scanning the surface for resources. I've never done this. Square up to the sun, I guess. Except we just lost track. Oh, there it is. Yeah, right, for the solar panels. Yeah, you're right. So let's just keep our tail pointing to the sun. Which is hard to do because your nav ball is not really the same as the orientation that you're looking for. Hang on. Yeah, no, there's not going to be any way for me to make that more easy. So just a sec. Boom. And there it is. That angle. And boom. Just do one axis at a time. That's a lot better. All right. So our solar panels are mostly pointing there. There's a little self-shadow, but barely. How would I eliminate this? By rotating this way. Freeze. And then maybe a little bit more this way. And then freeze that rotation. That's pretty damn square. Not much in the way of self-shadow. Again, no self-rotation. Good. You can turn off the SAS, actually, because I think the SAS keeps causing things to move. Whereas now we should have no rotation whatsoever. Still have some delta V. We've got the scanners. Have I ever had in and out? Yeah, I have. It's delicious. Of course, you had enough fuel. Every time you use it, you lose weight. Oh, well, that's true. But, so yeah, if I turn this off and I go to map, it goes away. And if I turn it on, then we've got it. But, like, why is it all pinky and striped? I wonder if is it any chance, you guys have, I've never played with the mineral scanner at all. Is there any chance that this is just a graphic glitch? Like a shader error? Now the cool thing, you've also got the, level up crew. According to the experience. Oh, so by using that, you get your XP at the time. So if we sent someone to Duna, and then, they got a bunch of XP along the way, and you hit this, they would level up then. Okay, which wouldn't have helped with here, because we still would have had to do the flyby of the sun and everything, but that's interesting. So, biome, altitude, you're right, so you've got that. Rhino's got your answer. Pinky and striped is the mineral density. Right, but, so is it just the same mineral density everywhere? That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I'm not seeing any variation in any way. I was expecting clumps. Right? A pink clump here, a blank clump there. Okay, I guess it's blank here, but it's more dense over here. Okay. So there are dead spots. It's just not entirely drawn the way that I would expect. So these, especially if you zoom out a bit, it becomes more obvious. I mean, unless it's just the crater graphics. So the sweet spots are back here. Okay, it's hard to tell when you're zoomed in. But if I zoom out, these must be the sweet spots. Okay. And the poles seem to be relatively rich as well. So if we land a drill at the pole, it should be okay. We do have, where is it? Over here. I mean, the average, is that average everywhere? If I do, like, a bunch of time warp here to get over a different spot. So now we're a different spot. Same average? Kind of. Then over here. Yeah. Change the cutoff percentage. I wish you could do this when you're here. Like, why can't I interact with my scanner from this view? Or cut off higher. Oh, there. Ooh. Oh. 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 Okay. Let's go back to monochrome. Increase to 50%. Ah. It's 80%. What if I switch this to inverse? Okay. Heat map green. Doesn't look particularly green to me. Blue. Monochrome. 100%. Okay. 100% is no good. 90%. So this should show us the absolute richest areas. Now we're talking. Okay. Still kind of weird that you can't see it at the same time. Bring it out to 80%. Okay. So most of the moon is fine if you're looking for 80% or above concentration. Cool. I think I'll leave it here because the 90% was pretty tight, whereas this is like a giant area, a very safe area. Very neat. Toggle overlay should show... No, toggle overlay just hides this. No overlay. This has the overlay. All right. Very cool. Yeah, I've literally never collected any ore. It's the one thing I never got around to doing. I've done lots of crazy missions, but I've never done the recharging stuff. Ba-da-da-da. There's no science to be had here, right? Like if I get a crew report from over here. And then... Oh! Because we've never processed it before. Okay. I'm going to transmit this for 0. Oh, do you not have line of sight right now? Oh, that's funny. Hang on, let me get closer to the pole. I'm going to try to transmit this for 0. Just, I don't think we've got a moon orbit mission, but... So this one here, transmit. So over here, we can start our research. Generate science. Electric charge is good. Generating a certain amount of science per day by processing a very minimal amount of data. So this here, we can't get data from that, which is too bad. So the only experiment I could run with that, although I suppose I could do an EVA, and they're going to be like, oh, I'm sick of the EVAs. Get an EVA report. Store that. And review 150 data. Nice. And yeah, EVA. Keep board. I could still transmit that for immediate science. But more importantly, we've got a bunch over there. Wasn't it plus 150 science? Why is it not in there? You only got 49. I don't know. Whatever. We're all good. In orbit view, right-hand side, planet info. Right. Planet info and orbit view. What about it? Or are you saying that, like, let's say... Yeah, no, I don't know what you're trying to tell me. Alright. Anyway, so you can start accruing a little bit of science, but more importantly, we're going to get more over there. The idea is this ship... got 2 docking ports. We're going to send one that is here to collect fuel, and another one that is here to get science. The science one is going to come here. It's going to land on the moon. Standard sort of moon mission. But when it takes off, instead of going back to Kerbal, it's going to take off and rendezvous over here, dock, and then add the science over to the mobile processing lab. That's what it's going to be here for. Yeah, no, I know the difference between the data and the science, but I thought, and I might have just imagined it, but I thought it was going to say it was going to add 150 data units, whereas it clearly did not. I must have just read the number wrong. I was probably reading the megabit, or the megabit number instead of the data number or some damn thing like that. So it's in there anyway. So right now we're getting 1.5 or almost 1.6 science for free each and every single day. That rate does go down as your data goes down, but if we feed more data in here, the rate's going to go up, and that's going to be quite nice. Focus on the moon? Oh, okay. Hold on. Focus view on the moon. Oh, here I can get whole colors. There we go. Much better. So out of curiosity, if I go back to my ship and I turn off the overlay for this. Now I go back to the moon. I'm focused on the moon. No, I'm not. Oh, I keep clicking on the orbit is what's going on here. I gotta click the dot in the middle. There we go. No. can't focus on the moon anymore? There we go. Double clicked on it. But it was weird that I couldn't get the pop-up. But double click on the moon gets me there. And it looks like, oh no, so I can't get the info now. So I have to have the overlay turned on the machine. Interesting. Although presumably, I don't need to have this, I don't need to be using the ship. I could be, if this is on, if I had another ship selected, I could presumably still get this overlay. But yeah, I really like this mode. I think the magenta is fine. And that 90 cutoff, oof. I think the 80% is very helpful. Oh, there's more color coding though. Ooh, shine. Oh, because I'm in a rainbow color now. There we go. This is okay. So the real sweet spot is over here for max. And that's not a hard landing. I could probably try to figure out a way to land there, but as long as I land anywhere with the 80%, I think I'm going to be pretty happy. All right. We've learned things. Oh, spacewalk in orbit of the moon. I'd literally never done that. Not in orbit of the moon. I guess that's true. Transmit data from the scanner. Yeah, I did. There was a button for it. So it got transmitted. All right, I'm going to quick save, go back to the Space Center. Pilot has nothing better to do. Have him draw the damn map. Warp to morning. Tend to like morning launches more. You can access it from the Space Center as well. Ooh, nifty. So let's see here. So the tracking station. If I find the moon. Focus moon. There it is. Awesome. All right. So while I have you guys here, how do we build the mining ship? Now this could be a probe. You don't necessarily need a person to run the mining ship, right? So let's say we started with an which one do we want? Stability assist. The hex is the better one, right? Or even the thin one. So this has got prograde, retrograde, and the Octo 2. Yeah, this has the most, but this is the one that doesn't have the reaction wheels. All right, so this is the best probe core. Where the hell did it go? Way down there. It's tiny. So before I forget, let me make sure we add a reaction wheel to you. I mean, we could do the monopropulsion, but is it under utility? I do have the drill, yeah. So there's I have a tiny one, which presumably does things at a lower rate. Asteroid drill, asteroid drill. They're both the same. Or 0.3 a second, 1.5 second. All right, so this is a lot faster. Oh, it's huge. But what is it? Where do you store the ore? Small holding tank? Radial holding tank? Is there a bigger holding tank? Probably later on. So I think I'm going to use a small drill in this. I think this is going to be a tiny little probe. So that obviously we also need our own fuel. So I wonder if this would be sufficient. Yeah, I have some doubts. I'm not looking to do processing with this, although I suppose we could. What would be better? I guess it would make more sense to process it on the planet. It means more weight for this thing, though. Whereas if I do this, it means I can't generate my own fuel. What do we think? Engineer gives bonus to mining, but makes it heavier. Can this run when you're not at the ship? Like, can I just dock this, start the mining, and then, like, go back to the KSC and do some time warp, and then it's full? Or do I need to be focused on the vessel? The storage tank is empty, so we're fine. People seem to be a fan of generating of having the engineer go with it and do a full processing on the planet. Okay, well, we could do that. Because what we can do is we can get the, I don't know, just the Mark 1 lander can, right? And then throw the Prototyne on that. Right, so the computer handles the landing and takeoff, but we can throw an engineer on there, and presumably the level makes the difference there too. It's too bad we don't have an engineer with any experience points, and they're exploded. Poor Bob, or Bill. Bill having died. So for this slightly larger tank, I don't even know if this is going to be quite enough to do the moon landing. So that's the ore. Oh wait, but if we're going to do the processing on the ground, we don't even need the ore storage tank. I mean, maybe we need a tiny one. So let's say we got a big tank like that. Utilities. Actually, do we even have the ore pro? There's a Convertotron. So there's the bigger one. Inputs: ore and electric charge, and it generates oxidizer. Ore and electric charge generates liquid fuel. It can also create monopropellant. Oh, and it can do it as a pair. Okay, so it's got the 3 modes in it, which is great. And then if we throw the big drill on the side of this, is this good? Would this reach? Yeah, that should. I mean, this doesn't mean to be on the ground or anything, right? I think it would look better if we did this. Plus, this would be the heaviest thing. I think we need, like, a bigger tank if we're going to do this. Or, you know what might be better? Oh, these are really big. What if we use the FL? Oh, there's nowhere to really mount them on this. Oh, it's going to radially mount them. It's a bit annoying. You know, just more space for fuel. You can fuel throw between all of these. I don't know if it'll do it automatically, but then get the drill in the back like that. What do you think? Drills do not feed directly into the processor. Yeah, no. So we need a little radial tank. I don't know at what rate everything gets processed, but can we use this as a temporary placeholder? So the drill puts the ore in there, and then the tank drains the ore from that and generates fuel on the fly. Riverdude stated that the weight to conversion ratio is a loss. So if you spend more fuel carrying it to orbit than if you refined it on the surface, no matter what ISP your engine, best to have a big fuel tank on the surface ready for you. Now that's interesting. Yeah. What if we landed a static fuel base? This way, okay, so leave the drilling equipment and the conversion equipment on the moon all the time, and just make really precise landings with just something that carries stuff back and forth. That sounds like a recipe for huge freaking disaster for me, especially without KIS. Because I won't be able to run a pipe from one to the other. I would have to, like, say, put a docking clamp on top of this and then precision land ships on top, which I can't do. That's never going to work. Need a bigger ore tank? Really? How come? Is the conversion rate based partially on how much ore we've got, or does the ore fill up really fast, and otherwise you have to toggle back and forth? That might be. This is quite heavy. Yeah, maybe we'll have to make an adjustment for that. So that's like all the questions, like efficiency, function, like how do you optimize this design? One thing I can tell you, it's very annoying to not be able to attach things on the bottom. So I think, you know what? Let's get a pair of these. One on top and one under this, because it's driving me bonkers. Also, the fact that I don't have a bigger one of those. I wonder if we got some science to unlock something like that. That reach? Yeah, that reaches. Just try to offset that. Can we take a look at the center of mass overlay? Yeah, so it's shifted a little too far over here. You know, it's not that far off. But yeah, so the processing kicks out a fair amount of heat. Jesus Christ. Power and radiators are required. Oh, a moon rover. So you can tanker things. Yeah, maybe. Be a lot easier with KIS. Rover style lander that plugs into a side docking port. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably exactly what we have to do. So this is getting more and more and more involved. How do we land the rover? How do we do this? Okay, so basically what you would do is this would be the rover style thing. So let me leave here. Yeah, don't save this. If we went to the spaceplane hangar to start off with, to be operating sideways. Lander can. Something like this. Drill on the back end. We'll have to figure out the landing at some point, but, you know, whatever. That's got to go... Oops. Hang on. Let me reset that. There it is. That might be too big now. And then, oh, I don't have proper wheels. Like, obviously we can't do it with this, right? But like, if we had the proper wheels and just run around this way, big solar power panels on top. Clearly we need more parts.